Good evening and welcome to Anime-Zing Radio here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. I'm your host, Doug Engler, joining me the co-host seat as always. There's our good friend, Miss Angela Rose, who's messing with her camera,
Good. Hello, everybody.
and Mr. Darren Starling.
I was trying to fix
Okay.
fix the
I was
frame.
about to say, all I saw from Angela was the ceiling, so I didn't know she transmutated into the ceiling.
No, I was.
She was that light
fixing
fixture.
No, I was fixing the camera so Anya was more in the frame.
Ah, okay. So, in other words, she was reincarnated as a light fixture. Got it.
But
She got isekai'd.
No, I did not get
yes, you
isekai.
did. Yes, you did.
No.
Just admit it, Angela.
We're already starting off with fun and chaos. Just a reminder to everybody out there that Anime-Zing Radio is brought to you tonight by Home Circle Media for the latest and greatest in anime gear, everything from pens, pencil, stationery, and officially licensed art books. Be sure to check out homecirclemedia.com today or look for them at an upcoming convention near you. We're also brought to you by Triple S Lawn Care. If you're in the Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina area and you need lawn care, be sure to reach out to Triple S Lawn Care. Fall season is among us. Leaf cleanup, yard cleanup is here. Give them a call. Darren will hook you up with great service at a great price.
Yep. Give me a call because I have equipment I want to try this year, or actually put more hours on.
Of course, good evening to all of you amazing people in the chat. Hello to Ross. I hope that you had a wonderful week. We're ready to talk anime tonight because we all have been actually watching shows. And hello, John.
And no worries if you can't catch us live. You can always check the audio. You can always check for the audio version after the fact wherever you get your podcasts.
And talking about the podcast side of things, something to look into. I'm not sure how to do it, but I know that Sirius has podcast platform. I'm not sure if we can get up on there or not. I know there's a lot of anime shows up there because I was browsing through the other day.
I can definitely look into that over the course of the next few weeks. I can tell you that the hosting platform we used to have, stupid camera.
She transformed again.
Yep, she's back to the ceiling.
That time I was reincarnated as a light fixture.
My camera.
I like how also by doing that she ended up below me on the screen. And there, oh look who she picked as her little profile. Doug.
I see that. As she is correcting stuff.
By the way, I like the thumbnail you used for YouTube, Doug. Because Yuki is adorable.
I like her better than Yor.
I do too.
I even think Angela would like that show if she gave it a chance.
What show are we going on about now?
Are you
Miss
Servant?
Servant? She is adorable. And to be fair, the dog is more adorable than Bond. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Although a wet Bond at the end of season 2 was absolutely hysterical.
Agreed.
Why are you? All right, let's see how that reset.
And what's your opinion? I have to say, what's your opinion on our side assassin?
She's an interesting character as well. We'll delve more into that in just a few minutes. Of course, hello to Mario out in the chat. Great to see you in. I'm glad that with your work schedule, you were able to pop in to say hi for a bit.
Day.
A long time no see.
All right.
Ross in the chat said that Demon School Iruma has been announced for a season 4.
That was one show I never watched, but part of me regrets not watching. It kind of has that Rosario Vampire vibe of what Rosario Vampire could have been if it had just followed the manga.
Yeah, good enough.
Mario says that he's been around, just hasn't been able to comment, which I think a lot of times you try to listen to us while you're at work, which that's totally understandable. And we thank you so much for being a fan of ours for all these years. Same thing with you, John and Ross, and everybody who's out there who tunes in.
Oh yeah.
John Knight said he got Made in Abyss Season 1 Complete Collection Blu-ray. And Makoto Shiniki's Your Name movie on Blu-ray. That's awesome.
Makoto Shinkai.
Yeah, what Darren said. I
Yep.
butcher names horribly.
Indeed.
And for those who haven't been around a bit, I know we had 1 week that we didn't do a show. Last week was fun and excited. I'm a little bit crazy. We had three amazing guests with Hatake Sahara, and of course, Kaya Tanu joined us talking about another anime con and Anime. And of course, Angela, you touched a little bit on your trip to Japan. So tonight we're going to talk about the animes that we're catching up on, and also give you a chance to talk a little bit more about your trip. If what you learned out there, what fun and excitement, how the anime world differs from the home of anime as opposed to other places you've been, things like that.
What do people want to know?
Favorite part of the trip?
Arguably the food.
How do we always end up on food?
To be fair, the last thing I finished watching was Delicious in Dungeon.
Which I won't lie, I see the food in Japan from all the YouTubers that we watch, and I'm like, that's stuff. I don't like seafood, but even some of the seafood just looks amazing. I'm like, I would, even though I know I don't like seafood, I would want to at least try something.
I highly recommend trying. I did in fact eat a lot of seafood on this trip, but I also really like seafood.
I would be more like Chris Broad and hitting up all the chicken places.
I will say we did actually get Fami Chiki. Not overrated. That was amazing.
Really?
Really.
So the Family Mart chicken is actually that good.
It is that good.
That's good to know.
About to say, I would be interested to try it because I'm tired of chicken. But if it's done differently, then sign me up, I guess.
He works at Bojangles and is tired of chicken. Who would have thought?
And chat's going off. John says he watched the first 2 dub episodes of Sword Art Online Alternative Gun Gale Season 2. John, what'd you think? What do you think so far of Gun Gale Season 2? Because I'm actually really enjoying it.
Let me guess, you missed. Is it everything you expected it to be, or is it more, or?
It is exactly what I expected it to be, and that is fantastic. It's just fun. And it's a game, so it doesn't take itself the in-game stuff doesn't take itself seriously, and it's all about the human interactions. It's great.
And let's see here. Ross in the chat talking about Death March to the Parallel World Rhapsody just announced a season 2, we were talking about that a little bit before we went on the air. That had just come across my Facebook feed.
Yep.
Season 1 wasn't bad. I kind of enjoyed that one.
Yep, it was a good show. Definitely, I gotta refresh myself on it because it's been several years, which seems to be the trend of a lot of these shows lately. You put on a decent show, and then it takes several years or more to get a continuation. But at least it got a continuation.
Now, am I the only one here that when a show that I enjoyed gets a sequel, I'll go back and rewatch season 1 to refresh myself of what happened and also to get myself more hyped up for a season 2?
I wouldn't necessarily rewatch the whole season. I generally tend to rewatch like the last episode or two just to kind of remind myself where stuff left off.
For me, I'm more inclined to go just find a recap.
So you go to the wiki.
YouTube, or if like the season 1 has an extended or if the first episode of season 2 has an extended recap, because a lot of newer shows will do that now.
Well, even if the recap's not even necessary, they'll do a recap. Fairy tale.
But
Ross says that he'll go back and rewatch a series unless he remembers everything about it from when it first aired. I think also, when I'm at work, when I'm stuck in a hotel for 24, 48 hours at some points, I just have time. So if I catch up on the shows I'm watching for that season, it's not uncommon for me to have the time to rewatch something else.
And John in the chat is saying for Gun Gale season 2, what he did was watched the season 1 recap from Multiverse Observer on YouTube as a refresh. But yeah, no. When I travel to other countries, the food is always a big thing. I'm not gonna lie.
Now, one thing I'm curious about, I know that you went to, speaking of Chris Broad, you went to his bar in Japan. How was that? Was it a nice setup? Did it look as good in person as it did on the video? Or
it did. I will say this: we went on Halloween. It was filled to capacity with a line out the door. And we basically waited in line. Once we hit our turn, we got in, had our food and drink, wandered around. I took pictures of all like the framed quotes and whatnot.
what was Natsuki's iconic quote on the wall? Go F yourself.
Yes. There was also a drink on the menu called
GFY. Just say GFY.
And
Hello,
basically, and with one of the bartenders, you had, when you ordered that drink, you had to say it and keep a straight face.
I would channel my inner Natsuki. I just look at it and I just be like, go yourself.
That was hilarious. But no, we met and talked to interesting people.
That's good though. I mean, now was it a lot of tourists that
it was
there?
Almost exclusively tourists.
Okay.
And it was really funny. At least just about everybody was in the line because they were a fan of Abroad in Japan.
Of course.
And then in the group behind us, we got to talking to them, and one of the guys was like, "Chris Broad, who's that?" And his buddies just kept giving him a hard time. He's the one whose shorts we've been sending you. And it was just funny. But no, that was an experience. With the exchange rate factored in as well, we had four drinks, multiple orders of food, and the entire bill was less than $70.
Wow. That's not bad at all.
Nope.
I don't know if you can go to a bar, to most bars in the U.S., get a couple of drinks and food and keep it under 70.
Cocktails, beers, maybe.
I wouldn't know.
But any cocktail bar in Boston for four drinks alone, you're looking at at close to $100, depending.
Yeah, and in the U.S. they also, expect tips, as opposed to Japan. It's rude to tip.
In Japan, it's rude to tip, but a lot of places have a cover charge.
Yeah, so they get around the tipping with other means, buying drinks, cover charge, things of that nature.
But
if you're Connor, you get snookered into buying all the girls' drinks because they just start around Robin, constantly going up to him, and he can't say no.
But yeah, we did not run into any of the YouTubers at Lost Bar.
But you did run into one YouTuber outside. You had mentioned Tokyo.
We did go out to Ikebukuro, and we did see Tokyo Portfolio, which was surreal.
Were you able to talk with him for a bit, or
a few minutes? Yeah. Turns out he went to school up here.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, that was surreal. And then at the end of the trip, we actually got a chance to catch up with Lady Beard, which was so surreal.
I did shoot a couple emails to him during the week and had a little bit of chat with him. So he mentioned that he got to meet up with you guys and got to hang with you and Roberto.
Yep.
I'm sure meeting Roberto made his day.
That's just not gonna die.
No.
And going back to chat, none of your business says, Doug, why were you stuck in a hotel that long? Was it a survival game? Did you escape? Or are you really Doug? Who are you, imposter? And what did you do with Doug?
That's just the hello, Pop Girl.
And then we've got John Knight's comments about enjoying Gun Gale and having missed the characters after season 1. Rawson says, I don't understand math and have trouble with tips, and if Japan hates tips, that's great. It's just a cultural difference, and none of your business. Adding to that, tipping is a bizarre practice. It's honestly kind of embarrassing when people tip you in a job not known for it.
I'm sorry, but money is money. Forget anything else.
And I don't think, and it's just my way of thinking, that if somebody goes above and beyond what's expected with their job, I don't see anything wrong with wanting to reward them financially if you can afford to, outside of a service that, in our country is, tips are not in some cases people expect a tip, but that's not always the case.
And then, hello, Pop Girl. Pop Girl has joined the chat to say "Go Bills."
And Nunya, in answer to your question, I do get stuck in hotels for between 24 to 48 hours at times because it depends on when the return trains are coming back. In the case of if I go to, say, Hagerstown, I have to wait for a train from that originates down south to make its way up to Hagerstown. Not this past week, but the week before, I was in the hotel. I want to say almost 40 hours because when we got there, the train we normally would have taken, there was another crew in front of us who got that one, so we had to wait for the following day's train to get there. So I'm at the mercy of whenever my scheduled return train gets to a lot of these places. And it is the real me. I'm the real Slim Shady. Yes, I'm the real Shady. Sorry.
God, bad jokes all around.
Oh, they never stop.
No.
I really wish we were recording when Darren got you with a good one.
Yep. I know, right? Just like you wish we'd started recording with at the convention last summer.
Yeah.
About 5 minutes earlier, so that everyone could have witnessed my rant at Token with the Dead.
Quick question. Have either of you really got me yet? Because we've got Doug I don't know how many times. We've gotten Angela several times. But have y'all actually got me?
Yes, when you were talking in your sleep.
Other than that, like when I've been conscious.
I got you once riled up that I remember.
Refresh my memory.
The particular cursing I did, and then you got mad at me.
And I usually get you riled up in regards to Nico.
No, that don't get me riled up no more.
Not because I've done it so much, but
because it's a Nico. No, not happening.
Ross has gotten us a few times.
Ross, you distract us all the time, not just a few.
Granted, let's be honest, we do that to ourselves.
Pretty much.
I'm glad I passed on the torch because it used to be me and Karma doing that to Doug.
I am very not surprised.
And then I was like, Darren, why don't you just join me as a co-host? And then he just kind of stuck around.
Pretty much, I'm like that. I'm like that fly that won't go away.
But I really enjoy the crew we have now. I think that the three of us make a good team for the show.
Are we Team Rocket?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. Would that make you Meowth?
I guess. I mean, I'm the youngest. But then again, Jesse and James weren't exactly adults either.
Neither are we.
Speak for yourself.
Look, I am a kid. Like, I am an actual kid. Even at work, I am a kid. Out in public, I am a kid. I am not an adult in the slightest.
I'm only an adult by age. I still try to have fun with all kinds of stupidity. Like you can't take me out in public, like going to stores and stuff like that. I will make the dumbest jokes.
Can confirm.
And I still have the problem of I cannot go to a convention and not purchase something.
Oh, I share that with you, so that's normal.
Also, leave it to me to go to a horror convention and walk away with anime merchandise.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
The amount of The amount of crossover in all of the fandoms is very high.
Oh, definitely.
Well, about to say the line separating anime from a lot of things in society are becoming a blur lately.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of conventions, I want to throw a congratulations out to Saratoga Comic-Con as they're getting ready to celebrate 10 years. Their Saratoga Comic-Con is going to be going on next weekend in Saratoga Springs, New York. They've got some really good guests, including Ryan Bartley's going to be there. I forget some of the other ones. That was the one that stuck out to me the most. I think she was Ram in ReZero, the pink-haired maid.
Um,
I'd say I like Ram though. I mean, Ram's cute and all, but I don't mind Ram.
and Ross says he saw the
Overlord movie 2 weeks ago.
I forgot about it.
They showed Ainz fighting as colored lines in the movie, so you never got to see him actually fight. They referenced the main characters, never showed but a limited few, and repeated the question of what justice means, so it was a mid-movie.
I feel like for a fair number of anime movies, that's kind of the case. And by that I mean ones that are tied to series.
Yeah,
Very rarely are the movies superior to the series or on par with the series. Normally, they're like a dumbed down version of something going on in the series. Very rarely are they
Like
exceptional. Now, Konosuba was fun though.
like the My Hero ones were fun, but they were all basically side stories.
Did the main series ever reference them or bring them up?
One of them, yes.
The reason I ask is for ones like example Konosuba season 2, no, with season 3 definitely whatever season aired recently definitely brought in the events of the movie.
season 3.
Thank
the
you.
most recent the season of My Hero that just wrapped had characters from one of the movies actually make an appearance.
And also, Demon Slayer had the movie come out that basically just turned into a continuation of a season, wasn't it? It was like a
Yes,
dumbed down version of the season. The train.
the train arc basically carried on the end of season 1 and carried into season 2. Sometimes the movies are used to bridge events. Also, Slime had the movie out, and they were able to kind of bridge the events. Because if you'd have seen these characters that came in the movie later on in the series, you'd have been like, who the heck are they and when did they get introduced?
So anime movies tend to be hit or miss. I think a lot of times that the anime movies, they could have just turned them into a short series, an OVA, or something of that nature. Sometimes I don't feel
Although
it's needed.
To be
although
fair, the whole second half of DxD, no, yes, this whole second half of DxD season 3 should have been a movie instead of a whole season.
I mean, even Spy Family, the movie was fantastic. The movie was well done, but it literally
Filler?
not filler, just a side story.
I think we're in a day and age where people will find something and just want to absorb so much media that companies almost feel pressure to be like, okay, well, this show is such a hit. We need to keep putting, a product out there so it stays fresh in the minds of our fans.
And then you
Because
get
with so much stuff out there, it's easy to be like, oh, look at a show like uh, Sadao Mao, Devil's a Part-Timer. People forgot about that show until the season 2 came out. If they had kept putting little blurbs out, little OVAs out, or a movie or something that could have kept people's interest while they were in production of a season 2, I think people might have welcomed it more than they did.
and then you've got the One Piece when Red was out in theaters, that actually did really well, money wise.
One Piece will never die.
Mm-mm. Now, it is on pause, though, because the author is in poor health right now.
And relevant question from Ross. Do you think anime is getting better or worse in its industry?
Well, in some aspects, it's a lot less fun
I would
because there's a lot less to experiment with because there ain't much you haven't seen at this point.
argue the answer to that is yes. In some aspects, it definitely has gotten better. In other aspects, it's definitely gotten worse.
Question, Doug. Do you think interspecies reviewers would have gotten away with it if this had been more toward the 90s and early 2000s? And if you look back on some of the works they did previously?
Honestly, I think it would have been more well received. Back in put it out there with Rosario Vampire, Girls Bravo, that time frame where you had a lot of shows out there that even like To Love Ru, where there was a lot of sexual innuendos, nudity, things of that nature, and I think it would have gotten a lot better or a lot warmer of a acceptance or welcome than it did airing at the time. I think that was a victim of timing.
But if you put it out now,
If they were to put
now that they've got the taste of it, they definitely want it now. The problem is you also have the people that will make an example out of the show in a heartbeat.
I also think where anime is so easily accessible now, where at the time of Rosario Vampire, High School DxD, early season stuff like that, where it was tough to come by these shows outside of Japan. Like Angela said, for her, a lot of it was a friend working at a video store who could get them imported, or we were stuck to what we could find on TV or early generation
or
YouTube
bootleg DVDs picked up at like Anime Boston or
eBay.
maybe Newbury Comics.
But now the market is so oversaturated with shows. I think the oversaturation of anime is a double-edged sword. It's great because now we have access to so many shows. If you don't like this genre, that's okay. The genre you like, you have 5-10 choices.
Or any given season, you have very few. Genre choices ebb and flow much like network television. I think I'd argue we're seeing the same cycles.
I'm just curious as to, because like looking ahead, you're still seeing a lot of isekais coming out. There's still lots of shonens coming out, and I'm on the thought process of a lot of people out there of what's going to be the next big genre. Is sports going to take over? Is it going to be? Are we going to see harem animes come back? Are we going to see?
Thing. I would argue that there's more sports anime that are popular right now than there is shonen. I mean, yeah, you got the big name ongoing titles for shonen, but as far as new stuff, there's not nearly as much, and a lot of it kind of goes under the radar.
Something I think would be fun, and I should look into, is trying to reach out to possibly like a Japanese anime studio to see if we could even get somebody on as a guest to find out, what the thought process is or how they determine what, mangas, light novels, what source material they decide that they want to turn into an anime. Because I think that would be an interesting thing to delve into from inside the industry as, okay, why does this manga get a show when there's another manga that's a very similar topic that might have a better story that nobody cares about?
I think
And
that just goes into
I think it's due to the exposure that manga gets. Like whatever the more popular manga is in Japan, that's what they
yep,
try to turn their attention to. So
and
basically, the Japanese is the initial market, and whatever they respond to, that's what they're going to go with because that's where the money is.
and with anime being global, while there are some shows that are popular around the world, others, like certain shows, are more popular in certain countries.
Yeah, like Dragon Ball has all of South America.
And I would argue Dragon Ball is something that was popular worldwide. I just didn't care for it.
Well, I know I'm just picking on Spain in particular. They're Dragon Ball fanatics.
And
I like how big Pokemon got here.
Look, my employees are talking about buying Pokemon cards again, and I'm just like, dang. And on top of that, he's also playing this new Pokemon virtual. It's kind of like a
oh,
gacha game.
yeah, the mobile gotcha game. I
Right
know
there,
exactly
Pokemon
what.
TCG.
Yes, yes,
Yep.
yes. And he's talking about spending money, and I'm like, dude, you're spending money on PNGs.
I have not, I play it, but I don't spend any. I won't spend money in game on
I will
stuff.
say I have enough friends who are into Pokemon where I spend a considerable amount of money in the Pokemon Center in Shibuya
I wish
getting
I wish the Pokemon Center was still in New York.
I basically picked out Pokemon for for my D&D crew.
How much stuff did you actually come back with for other people? I'm guessing a whole suitcase full.
Well, we did buy an empty suitcase while we were there,
Which you said you were going to.
and we filled it.
Okay.
Some of that, granted, both of us bought a lot of stuff for us. In Osaka, we did an outlet mall, and I basically treated it like a trip to the outlet mall here.
Do you know what's really funny, Ange? One of my friends that I did Anime Corner with back in the day, she ended up going into Japan either a day or two before you came back from Japan and basically was there for the past 2 weeks. And she did the exact same thing. She hit so many different outlets and the different types of stuff that she pulled out. It was impressive. That's all I gotta say.
Oh yeah, no, I did an outlet mall we did an outlet mall in Osaka where I spent a fair amount of money on clothing. And then once we got to Tokyo, we did some shopping trips as well. Plus, we had to get concert merch when we saw Hyde.
How did that experience compare to when you saw them in the U.S.?
It was an entirely different experience. Here in the US, we saw Hyde at a very small concert venue. And over there, it was basically a large chunk of a convention center. But the way they do concerts, like doors opened at 3, the show started at 5. By 9 p.m., we were back in our hotel room. Unlike here, where it's doors open at 5, the opener starts at 7. The main act, the one you probably spent way too much money to see, doesn't hit the stage until 10. So you're lucky if you're home by midnight.
Yeah.
So in other words, they present what they got and get you home.
Yeah. And also the way they do merch is entirely different as well. And it was just so much easier to do merch over there.
And lines and stuff are more orderly there than they are here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that has to do with social construct. They're taught manners at such a young age.
They are. And I wish that, the U.S. could follow suit in teaching manners at a younger age, but that's opening up Pandora's box. I don't think we need to delve into.
No, let's not go. On second thought, let's not go there. It's a silly place.
Stop that. You're being silly.
I don't know if we're quoting the same work, but you know what? That's okay.
That's okay. I was quoting Monty Python.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, Holy Grail.
Flying Circus as well.
So no, we did 2 different pieces from Monty Python. Bringing us back on topic from Ross. Wait, what? I think studios should slow down on adapting anime instead of announcing, then shelving the project, or when starting and then going on hiatus when there's no problem with it at all.
Which I can kind of agree. It almost feels like some companies are like, we're going to put this out, and then the next thing you know, we have to put on hiatus for XYZ reason. And sometimes there isn't a reason at all.
Well, we see a lot of that in the video game industry too, and a fair amount of, and a lot of times it's money.
Well,
because everything has a cost.
Yeah.
And 2, I think in this instance, I would not be surprised if there is things that get lost in translation. Plus, I doubt we get all of the news right away. So by the time we're hearing about something, it may very well already be non-existent because of whatever the reason was.
That's very big possibility.
I'm also
it's always a lot more goes on behind the scenes than what we as fans know.
And I am also very much speculating, just throwing out probable cause, because we do see a lot of that in the video game industry. As far as the lengthy hiatuses, I know we're seeing more of that, and I know we started seeing a lot of that because COVID.
And I feel that, like, as much as the anime industry is trying to bounce back, I don't feel that's anywhere near what it was pre-COVID. I know COVID set a lot of stuff back. People are still trying to adjust back to a world, COVID's still on people's minds in some cases.
But I will actually disagree.
I think it depends on where in the world you are, how much that's going to affect.
Well, my thought, everything people
It's awesome.
people adapted and started working from home, and subsequently, while anything live action was on extended delays, once they adjusted, anything animated uh, was actually able to recover much quicker.
Now I'm not sure if the Japanese did recording from home like the US did or not. I never heard one way or the other, so I can't confirm nor deny that. I just know in the US that a lot of voice actors and stuff were working from home.
I just know that a couple of very specific shows notwithstanding, after a short period, everything was back up as if there were no problems.
I also know that in Japan that they usually bring the group of voice actors in to record a scene at the same time as opposed to the US where it's one voice actor at a time.
I also wonder how much I don't know. Again, we're speculating.
Oh yeah.
And Ross continuing his thought, because I'm still waiting for Our Last Crusade Season 2 to pick back up, because back in August they announced a hiatus after 4 episodes to work on quality when there was nothing wrong. That could just be what they said and what the real reasons were probably not the same thing.
Yeah, because heaven forbid they're truthful nowadays.
And John Knight in the chat brought up what I did, saying, "Don't forget the English voice actors have recorded anime from their homes during COVID,"
Yeah.
which is very true. I just never heard one way or the other if that went on in Japan or not. I just know from the English side of things that a lot of the voice actors did that. So again, there's some hearsay and there's also some lack of information. So just basing an opinion on what we do know.
You
But what shows has everybody been watching this season?
And
know-
you first.
well,
And I think because we have a surprise for people.
I know.
We should save that one towards the end.
In that case, I'm gonna only talk about the other 3 shows on my list. Now, with travel, we got really behind on all of our content, all of our media, because one, when we're off exploring when we're off doing all the things, that made it really hard to keep up with anything that wasn't on like YouTube. And 2, we were just so we were just so busy that we didn't really keep up with a lot to begin with. But no, we've since we've been back, we've been slowly catching up on anime. Gun Gale Season 2 was kind of the priority one that we got caught up with first. And again, that one is a lot of fun. Surprising no one, the other ones we caught up on. Demon Lord 2099, which is again very much a me show. And I think Darren was the one that pointed that out when we were going through our season preview.
I believe so, yeah.
I believe you're correct.
And it really is good, but it's actually got some very human elements to it. And it's very cyberpunk-esque, very elements of cyberpunk, elements of traditional fantasy. I recommend it for anybody that likes that kind of thing. Mecha Yude, again, it's mecha. It's actually really good.
Andrew's happy she has her mecha. She likes big metal things.
And then we went back and we finished Delicious in Dungeon. You know,
That's on Netflix, isn't it?
yes, it is.
Because I know
And
you've said that we should watch it, but I don't have Netflix.
that is one I recommend to literally everyone because it is that good.
I think we all have shows like that we would just recommend to everyone because it is just that good.
Yep. And then the one I'm eventually going to go back and finish or maybe I will go back and finish 365 Days to the Wedding. That was another one we fell way behind on, and that's the one we didn't go back to.
That's one I've been meaning to start, and I got spoiled the other day, courtesy of my AnimeList.net putting a post up. So it made me want to watch it even more.
I have not started that one. I'm not sure if that's one that I was going to watch or not. I'm watching quite a few other shows at the moment.
It's a romance. We watched 2 episodes before leaving, and it's a slow start.
It's how to avoid moving to Alaska, the anime.
Pretty much. And then the last one that I am completely caught up on is what is the title? I actually have to look up the exact title because it's one of those dumb titles. Oh, hey, it would help if I was in the. I hate the My Anime List app. The last one on my list is The Healer Who Was Banished from His Party is, in fact, the strongest. I am caught up to current. And it is a fantasy.
It is a good show that all of us are watching.
Surprise. We found a show all of us are watching.
Because that show Darren and I started when I was down there. I continued watching it because I thought it was an interesting concept. Darren continued watching it as well when he had the time. I think you're a little bit behind on that one still, right, Darren?
Yep. I was in the middle of episode 5 when y'all sent me the link.
And I just caught up on that one yesterday, so I'm all caught up on that one. Darren and I both are watching Demon Lord Retry. I'm caught up. I think you're behind on that one a little bit too, right, Darren?
Yep, I am. I've only seen the first 2 episodes.
That one has been decent. I know it's a different studio. What was that?
Are you getting your bunny fix?
Not really.
They haven't been as prevalent.
Now, they were there early on, but the storyline has progressed outside of the village onto other things. So there's been some cool stuff, but like you don't see much of the main characters outside of the Demon Lord and the pink-haired girl. At least for 7 episodes. You don't see you see cameos of some of the other characters, but you really don't see much of them. Like the little girl that the Demon Lord, rescues in season 1, she's been almost non-existent in season 2. Like, I don't want to spoil anything, but it hasn't been bad. I'm just not sure how I feel about the way the story is going. but but it also could have a banger of an ending and be like, damn, that was actually really good. But we still have a few episodes to wait because we're about a little over halfway through the series. Another show that Darren and I started when I was down there was You Are Miss Servant. I know I said this before. I think Miss Servant is a better character than Yor from Spy Family.
She's definitely cuter and looks significantly better in her various outfits. Oh wait, never mind.
Did you
But
see the? Did you see? I'm one episode behind on that one. I know I have one
yeah,
more episode.
that's why I said oh wait.
Yeah,
But she is adorable. The relationship among her and one of her cohorts is interesting. The little sister of the main character is um, a typical little sister, want to be involved in her brother's life by meddling in any way, shape, and form. It's just a cute series.
I think it's an interesting storyline that delves into somebody who was an assassin who's trying to learn to be normal.
Normal in terms of societal standards.
Like trying to escape her past and learn what's, socially acceptable as opposed to living in a shadow world that she's been stuck in for most of her life.
So kind of like if you remember it, Show Me Sample, where you got a different class of individuals get introduced to stuff because of a commoner. Well, this time you're taking a specialized individual and putting them in a regular setting. Uh, Kind of reminds me of Grisatia, the fruit of Grisatia also.
I don't remember that one, but I do remember Showman Sample. I did watch that one. That one wasn't too bad.
Not muscles.
But I do think that You Are Miss Urban is a show Angela might like. I think me personally, I think it has a good storyline to it. I like the character interactions. I like the chemistry between the main character, the maid, the little sister. Add some comedy in there, and now there's another assassin who has come into the picture who is very much out there.
She's eccentric for sure. It just amazes me that some of these characters that initially try to kill the main characters or whatnot, how friendly they become afterwards.
I make zero promises.
Oh, I know. That's why I said you might like. I also made the same claim about Call of the Night. I said you might like, but the points that I said why you might like it, you agreed with. So I was happy with that.
It that one was very much a not for me, but whatever.
Spike Bebop in the chat says, have you watched Apothecary Diaries? What is your favorite scene? And are you excited for season 2?
Yes. Yes, just about any of Mau Mau's reactions to things, and hell yes, I'm excited for season 2.
You stole my thunder there. I was gonna say Mama's reactions were priceless on a lot of them, and I said it before that having finally seen Apothecary Diaries, I sat down and watched it with my wife. Mao Mao is such a well written and thought out character that I think a lot of people don't see just how genius of a character she is. I think a lot of people see her and enjoy the facial expressions, or in some cases, lack thereof,
I
of her personality. But man, she
um
is just such a great character. I think she might be amongst some of the best characters I've seen in anime.
agreed. Going back to John's comments, his watch list: Fairy Tale 100 Years Quest, Natsume's Book of Friends season 7, Blue Lock season 2, Gun Gale season 2, and Shangri-La Frontier season 2.
And the clock is going off. You're not imagining things. My wife has gone into full Christmas mode.
It's not even Thanksgiving yet.
That's what I
Too
said, but
soon.
that's what I said. It's not even one holiday at a time. But
Then again, as a December birthday, grumble, grumble, grumble. But
All right, people, you know what to do. Angela is Uncle Scrooge this year, so
no, I just don't enjoy seeing the Christmas stuff before my birthday.
I don't. Well, I can agree with you in that. Can they not, if they could at least wait till Black Friday like they used to,
Exactly.
that would be great.
Black Friday? No.
Also,
Black Friday
is
Black
no longer.
Friday is acceptable.
Black Friday is dead compared to what it used to be.
Agreed. But we've John Knight in the chat says that's why Mariah Carey is defrosted. Oh God.
that's great.
What about the Padaru? What about my saber?
Okay.
Ashire Sorio.
How many animes have done Christmas episodes?
Quite a few.
A lot of them.
Especially in the school slice of life ones.
See, the only one that I recently remember is Bo Fury.
And which was adorable.
Agreed. That was the cutest thing ever.
Syrup at the table with a little gift was like too cute for words. I'm like, oh my god, Syrup is like the best side character ever. But that's a whole side story.
Yep. And you know what? Closer to Christmas, we can have a conversation about Christmas anime.
Or Christmas episodes in anime.
I have to be looking back through a lot of anime because there were a lot.
Another show that I am getting back to our watch list. Another show that I have been watching much because of you, our viewers out there, especially Ross. Goodbye Dragon Life. That has actually been pretty good. I have been enjoying that. I do agree that the Lamia in that is cuter than the Lamia in Monster Girl Doctor or Mia. But I think my favorite of the female characters in that is the white-haired swords girl. I forget her name, but I kind of like her. And John Knight says, look, I made Angela laugh and Doug laugh hard. Every night, you guys in the chat, we do love, we do pay attention to what you say, and every now and then you catch us off guard with some great comments.
Yep.
We love you guys out there.
And Ross says Christina, Doug.
Oh, okay. Christina for the white-haired girl. I do like her better than the Lamia. I don't think that, Darren, that you've started that one.
Did we lose Darren?
Anything's possible. One show that I did start that I dropped was the Herbivorous Dragon of 5,000 Years gets unfairly vandalized or villainized. I just lost interest in that. Tying the knot with an Amagi sister is actually been better than I thought. I thought it was just going to be like a gimmicky type show, but the storyline has kept me interested enough that I've continued watching it. I am caught up with that. It has been fun. Not quite sure exactly where the storyline's going to go because a few different things have happened, which are events in this kind of setting that are made to bring the characters closer together, where at the same time it feels like the jumbled mess of this main character who goes to the shrine because he wants to study medicine to become a doctor, finds out that he has to marry to stay there. He's got to agree to marry one of the sisters. It just feels like the storyline's kind of all over the place based off of the personalities and things of that nature. Not sure where that's going to go. I'm hoping that it continues to be good, but it's one I honestly don't know who he's going to choose because I don't know the source material. I kind of know who I'd like him to choose if he chooses any at all, but Ross says we all know he's going to end up with the middle sister. I kind of think he's going to somehow manage to get all three. Darren's choking over there. You okay, Darren?
No.
Have you watched the Magi sister or?
Lift.
I just think somehow he's going to end up with all, or he's not going to be able to choose, so he just stays with all three of them. And the other show that I've been watching, of course, Live Live Superstar, that has been really good. The storyline was a lot different from what I thought it was going to be. I wasn't sure what was going to happen in it. The music is it's still Love Live. The music is great. The performances are great. The outfits are great. You know you're going to find more Love Live figures and great outfits because that's what Love Live produces. School Idol anime. It's typical with everything else. It's been enjoyable. I still will put Love Live Superstar as my second favorite of the Love Live franchise. I put it above Sunshine. I put it just behind the original. And the last show that I've been watching is As a Reincarnated Aristocrat. I'll use my appraisal skill to rise up in the world. That has been very good. I almost put that up there. It's not as good as Realist Hero, but some of the stuff in it kind of has that feeling. That's just my thought. That's just my thought on it. I think it's a really good. I'm not as hyped on that one as I was with Realist Hero, but I definitely has some similar feel to it. And Ross in the chat said he had, talking about a Magi sister, he had the vision of being with all three, but the future could change. Which is very possible. I mean, he's trying to change the future, but who knows what's going to happen. So, of all the shows that you've been watching, Angela, which one has you most intrigued?
Intrigued? I'm gonna actually say to that probably Demon Lord 2099 because I'm where we left off. Because that one started a week late, so we only finished. We're at the halfway point. We're only at episode 6. And honestly, that's the one where I'm really curious to see where they go with it.
And I know that you're big into like stories. You love a good story.
Yep.
In your opinion, what makes a good story?
I mean, it's
And I know that's subject to everybody. But I'm curious as to like a show that I thought had a really good story with Call of the Night. It just didn't hook you. So I was just
uh,
curious as to what you find to be a good story as opposed to some of the stuff I like.
for Call of the Night. I think part of it was both of the two main characters were just very, for me, very two-dimensional and flat and had zero redeeming qualities.
Nazuna was very flat, yes,
Um,
in anime standards.
and and then there was, and then just like the plot didn't grab
Roberto,
me. Yep, he's going to bed.
night, Roberto.
Everybody says good night. He says good night.
Some
But
things are never gonna die.
nope. But no, I mean, for me, I look for a well developed plot and or well developed characters. And with Call of the Night, for me, there was none of that. And I agreed with you on everything else. The imagery, the soundtrack and score, all of that was fantastic.
I think that's another thing too with anime nowadays is the art styles change so much that you look back at shows and like just read. I think earlier was it today or yesterday? We watched a movie. It wasn't an anime movie. It was like I think it was a Disney movie or I think it was called like something along the lines of The Penguin and the Pebble.
Okay.
It's a 90s movie, but when you watched it, you knew from the art style it was a 90s movie. It wasn't anything like a Disney Pixar thing that you see today. And hello,
I,
Whitney.
I was gonna say, speak of the devil.
And I had never seen it, and our daughter Evie was watching it with us, and she was intrigued by it. And it was a movie that my wife had seen in the theaters when it came out. So she loved it, and she was surprised I'd never heard of it. But at the same time, when it came out, I had kind of gotten away from watching movies and started, at the time that came out, my focus was sports and high school and work.
I know exactly what you mean because there's periods in my life where I saw all the movies as a teenager with friends, and then there was a period where I saw like no movies because I was too busy with everything else.
Like I haven't been big on movies in years. As a young kid growing up, I used to go to the theater a lot. I would see different movies. A lot of times I'd go to the theater to spend money at the arcade. Spent way too much money on Rampage because that game was just epic. I would still play the crap out of Rampage if I had it. I won't lie. That might be one of the games I've spent the most amount of time playing. But there is a movie that's coming out next year that has caught my interest, And it'll probably be the first movie that has gotten me to the theaters that I've wanted to see since Girls and Panzer to film.
Which is
Minecraft. And of course, you shake your head at that.
I do, largely because at this point I don't think Minecraft is going to be good.
I don't know if it's going to be good or not. It'll be fun to go see it just because of the history Minecraft has in my life and me and my wife's relationship.
Oh, that's fair.
So that's one of the main reasons that I want to watch.
Eventually I'm going to on my eventually I'm going to go and watch the Borderlands movie. I know it's going to be garbage. I've heard enough reviews. But video game adaptations are very hit or miss.
Detective Pikachu is actually not bad.
And we're going to go back to the chat because comments. Ross is saying that
He will not spoil 365
Yep.
wedding for Angela. He's he's holding back. He's being nice.
He is being nice. And he's also been enjoying Spirit Chronicles Season 2, as well as Nina the Starry Bride and Yakuza Fiance. I referred to Season 3. The English voice actors went way too hard at the last episode because they physically said the word bleep instead of using a sound effect. And Winry says, the only thing I've watched in the last 4 months is Full Metal Alchemist. The original or Brotherhood is what I want to know. And that she's really excited for the Minecraft movie.
Give me a minute and I can tell you.
Nope, she answered Brotherhood. Brotherhood was so good.
Yeah, because
Ross, I suppose I really can't say I dislike horror movies. I have to actually specify that I dislike certain types of horror movies.
I'm not a horror person.
Psychological horror is fine. There's a lot of those that I really like. But like the Friday the 13th style stuff just doesn't do it for me.
You're not a slasher person.
Not when it comes to horror. Nope.
That's where you and my wife differ. She loves the slasher stuff.
It has its place. There's media for everybody.
Yeah.
And Winry says, well, I have to go to bed now. Just wanted to say hi.
Thank you for popping in, Winry. And thank you for saying hi and interjecting in the chat. It's always great to see you come in. I do know one event that we are looking at for next year, if I can pull it off, is we do want to try to make it down to South Carolina Horror Con, the convention Jason Moulton puts on. We've been in talks with him. If we are able to go, AZR will have a table.
When is that?
That is in September.
Watch it be while I'm in Las Vegas.
September 20 and 21st.
Ooh, actually, no. Are you now? Here's the question: are you planning on driving or are you planning on flying?
I would be driving.
What would be the likelihood I could bribe you into picking me up at an airport if I were to make it down there?
Probably could make it work.
Because there is no way in hell I'm driving to South Carolina by myself. Not happening.
That is one that is we'll probably be, if we are able to do that, I would be looking at going down, like driving down, since it's a Saturday Sunday con, driving down Friday, driving back Monday. I'd need to get 4 days off from work for that. And then of course need to figure out lodging and stuff like that.
I would happily contribute to hotel room and all that.
Maybe we could even convince Darren to come and join us, since it's only a state away. But we can run that by him when he's more coherent.
Yep.
Things are kind of still in the planning stages for that. I did talk with Jason while we were actually at that horror con last weekend a little bit about stuff, and let's just say there could be some good things in the works.
Well, because I could, if I had transportation and a place to and from airport and a place to crash, I could easily justify a flight down.
Which I'm sure I'm sure all of that could be arranged. But that's stuff for future. It is something that we have been talking about, my wife and I. Also trying to figure out other things.
And
what conventions we might be looking at. I might take a break from Anime Boston next year. I'm not sure.
Anime Boston is Memorial Day weekend instead of Easter. And then PAX East is 2 weeks before that. So with my two big conventions being in May, I don't know what I'm going to do the first part of the year. But Ross is talking about horror movies. One is a Little Mermaid horror, and the other is Popeye, and it will be slash and gory, done by the same studio that made Pooh, Blood, and Honey. I don't know how I feel about this.
I don't know either. I'm not a horror person. I don't like horror of any type.
I love a good psychological horror. I love some of that. Like
the most horror that I can deal with is when the Yankees are doing good. That's pretty scary.
That's not horror. That's baseball.
I'm just making jokes.
I know.
Especially for the area I live in and some of the areas I work near.
I mean, aren't you in Phillies territory?
I'm in Phillies territory, but one of the trains I take goes to Newark, New Jersey.
Oh, bloody Newark. And Newark is Yankee territory, but I also feel like you're right in the middle between Philly and Pittsburgh. How close are you to Pirates territory?
I am probably an hour from Philly. I'm probably 4 or 5, 6 hours from Pittsburgh.
I meant the fandoms, not the actual cities.
I'm not sure. I mean, I see some Pittsburgh stuff, but I'm more Eagles Philly territory than Pittsburgh.
And Steelers have a fairly
big
all over the place fan base. From Ross, could you handle Future Diary? I am confused.
I don't know if that's to you or me.
I don't know, and I don't know what he means by that. I will say, keeping on the sports trend, I will say I was surprised by how much American sports gear we saw in Japan.
Baseball is big in Japan.
Well, yes, but I was not. Otani ads were everywhere. Go
Of
figure.
course.
But there was
Congratulations to him for the World Series championship.
but there was almost as much Yankees gear around Japan as there was Dodgers gear.
Doesn't surprise me because they were in this World Series.
Yes.
And if you had gone back when Daisuke Matsuzaka was signed by
mean-
the Red Sox, you'd see a ton of Boston gear.
And
Ichiro Suzuki, I'm sure, had a lot of Seattle stuff.
yep. But no, one of the things we did was so we chose a Japanese baseball team to kind of follow as much as we can. And the team we chose is the Hanshin Tigers because much like the Boston Red Sox, they too have a curse.
I was going to say, did you choose the cursed one?
Yes, we did.
I've heard of them. I've heard about the curse.
And it's the curse has to do with Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yep.
And it was hilarious. So what we did on this trip was we toured the stadium, and the team did. There was a Lawson's near the stadium. Apparently, there was an officially licensed collab with the Hanshin Tigers and Kaiju Number 8. So I was able to find a T-shirt that was a Hanshin Tiger shirt, but with the characters from Kaiju 8 dressed up as baseball players.
Oh, that's cool.
And of course, I'm not wearing any of the stuff I got in Japan. Because I did get a lot of good stuff.
At some point, I would love to go to Japan. I just know that there's a lot of steps I have to take before that can happen.
First and foremost, you need a bloody passport.
Oh, I know. I also want to get out of some of the debt that I have.
I maintain you should get a passport regardless of...
Oh, I know. Sometime in the next decade, I will.
A passport, you should do it sooner rather than later. A passport's just a good thing to have, and that's something I would recommend to everyone. But that's just me.
Yeah.
I say this as I've had a passport since I was 16.
Trying to think, what other topics have I seen coming down the pipeline recently? Oh, 2.5 Dimensional Seduction's the other show that I've been watching, and that one has been pretty good. That was another one that I know Darren has talked about quite a bit, saying that he thought that you might like it because of the cosplay aspect.
I will say the synopsis didn't grab me.
It is almost nothing like My Dress Up Darling outside of the cosplay aspect.
From the chat, Ross said, "Is the communication okay or hard over there while visiting?" In terms of being able to talk to people, in the very urban areas, we didn't have a lot of problems. There are the signs have English. The signs have, in some places they have signs in 4 languages: Japanese, Chinese, English, and Korean. In some areas, especially a little off the beaten path, Google Translate worked wonders. We literally, in a couple of spots, had entire conversations with people using Google Translate.
That's cool.
The other thing we did was we purchased eSIMs for reasonably cheap, and therefore we still had we still had data and wireless and Wi-Fi while we were there. We just couldn't get text messages. Like actual text messages. We could still use WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, Discord, whatever.
And how was it traveling around? Did you do a lot of stuff by train, or did you pull a Connor and bike everywhere? Or
No, I did not bike. We did not bike anywhere. We did a lot of trains. We both. If you had, fun fact, iPhone has an overwhelming majority of the cell phone market over there. So so you can get a Suica card on your iPhone and then just use and then link it to a credit card to add money to it. For me, because I do not have an iPhone, I had a physical card, which then I had to go to a machine and add money to.
so I would be in the same boat because I've got a Galaxy.
But the but the other thing was this go round a lot more places accepting credit cards. Last time it was very few places accepted credit card. This go round it was most places accepted credit card. Again, the shrines were cash only, and places a little off the beaten path were cash only.
That's understandable. I think they've mentioned that like in some of Chris Broad's videos that a lot of places off the beaten path are cash only. Now, did you said that Akihabara was going to be one of your stops? What was Akihabara like to visit?
It was, I mean, it was very much. It's the anime district. A lot like that's the place where there's the most shops for like figures and.
So I would go broke.
Yep. That was also where all the weird vending machine area was, where I got the box of animal crackers that I opened last week.
What was the weirdest thing you saw in a vending machine while you were there?
Oh God. You know what? That wasn't a mystery. That wasn't a mystery box. I'm gonna say corn soup.
And they like putting soup in the vending machines a lot from what I've seen from like
Yes.
Connor videos and stuff like that.
I'm
Even in
gonna.
some animes, they have a lot of soup or.
I am gonna say the soup was the weird. There's vending machines that have a row of hot drinks, and then a row of cold drinks.
Were you tempted to try any of those?
We did try hot. All right, good job, Ross. No, the vending machine was not alive or recently reincarnated. No, I
Too
did
bad.
not experience box. So, but no, like,
You could win a prize.
hot lemonade was a thing in one of the vending machines that was delicious.
Interesting.
And then you've got the usual suspects: flavored water, Picari Sweat, there were some vending machines that had Monster Energy, some that had Picari Sweat.
You find some Red Bull out there?
I don't remember if we found Red Bull.
I just know Red Bull is so worldwide. I just wasn't sure. Like I don't think I've ever heard any of the YouTubers that we watch have done vending machine specials talk about Red Bull. But
You know what? We did. We did have days where it was find energy drinks at either the convenience stores or the vending machines. Uh, Picari Sweat is basically it's similar to Gatorade, or it serves the same function.
It's just sweat off of some dude named Picari.
No, it's it's basically it's basically an electrolyte drink, designed for if you are dehydrated.
Now, did you try any of the food from vending machines? I know they have ramen vending machines and stuff of that nature.
We did not. We did, however, one evening get frozen food from because the place we were staying had a microwave, so we did get frozen food from 7-Eleven and heat it up in the microwave.
Now,
And
now how did this? Oh, go ahead.
those were significantly better than the frozen dinners we get here.
I was going to say, how do the 7-Elevens in Japan compare to the 7-Elevens in the U.S. that you've seen?
It's night and day. 7-Eleven in Japan is so different from 7-Eleven here. There's pre-made sandwiches that are actually really good. There's a frozen food section. There's a variety of coffees. There's a variety of beverages. I mean, you can get alcohol in a 7-Eleven there.
Did you find any Dr. Jelly?
Yes, we did. We did find the energy jellies. We did try a protein one that was disgusting.
And did you try sake?
Yes, we did get a free sample of sake at Lost Bar. I use the air quotes because the entire point is you put 500 yen in a gacha machine specific to the bar. You basically take you open the gacha, you bring it inside, and depending on what you have is what free sample of sake you get.
Ah, okay.
It depends on I'm gonna say that depends on the area. Ross's question is, was the atmosphere in Japan more relaxing than here? That depends on the area. We had some beautiful views. We stayed overnight at a ryokan in Hakone, and the view from the view from our balcony overlooked the mountains, and it was so gorgeous.
Did you stay at any hot springs or?
That was the ryokan.
Oh, okay.
We had our own private hot spring bath.
And did you try any of those themed love hotels?
We did not.
Or the capsule hotels?
No, we didn't do those. No. For the capsule hotels, neither of us really wanted to be in such a confined space, and we didn't, and a lot of them are separated by gender.
Okay.
And as far as love hotels, well, we got sidetracked with other things.
I just know that from a lot of the YouTuber content that you and I both have watched, those are predominantly focused in a lot of the content. And
Yep.
Japan is known for those. So I was curious
Yep.
as to some of the things you tried. Maybe, what about like the manga hotels? Or...
We actually saw the manga capsule hotel.
That one looked kind of interesting.
Agreed.
I think it was Joey the anime man had done like a 24 hours in one.
We watched a different video about that far more recently, but I was gonna say, our first trip to Japan in 2018, we did do a love hotel, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. Um, okay, here's an interesting question from John Knight. An anime question. What's an anime that made you mad and never watched again?
An anime that made me mad.
And while we're thinking about that, from Ross, what was the most unusual or weirdest thing you saw in Japan? Um, hmm. I'm not. I'm not entirely. I'm not entirely sure.
Ladybeard. No.
I'm gonna. One of the weirder things was cars driving on the wrong side, on what we would consider the wrong side of the road, but England does that too. Um, but I think, John, the answer to your question for me was the very last part. The last part of the last season of Attack on Titan is what made me angry. The ending. The seasons 1 through 3 fantastic. The first part of the final season was okay. And then it just went downhill from there.
I'm trying to think. I don't know if there's a show that's made me mad. That the closest thing I could think of is School Days. Like I know that we poke fun at Conception. Conception didn't make me mad. It was just a terrible show.
And
But I think School Days was like I don't even know if I was mad at that. More along the lines of I didn't see it coming, so it was more like thrown off, a little bit horrified, and it was like it was so good up to a point, and then it turned so bad so quick.
and that's the ending, the way Attack on Titan ended, made me upset. Man, now I'm trying to think. Unusual? I don't know. But
Now I know that like anime is huge in Japan. Was it as everywhere as a lot of us believe it is? Like I know that there are trains that are decked out with different animes, billboards, things of that nature.
that very much was a thing. We lost count of how many billboards we saw that featured Otane. There was a fair amount of anime and idol billboards. There was No, you know what the weirdest thing we saw was? A Thomas the Tank Engine train. I'm not even kidding.
You saw an actual Thomas the Tank?
Yes.
I know they're out there. They've got some that tour around the U.S. too.
But no, yeah, no, there was a lot of anime stuff. There was a lot of the ads, even on the trains, was animated, like done in anime style, and everywhere had a mascot. Like that stuff is in fact real. And some of the mascots are just so adorable, and others are like, what? But why?
And I think you had seen there's a like a 3D billboard in I think is it Tokyo that's been getting a lot of video popularity. I think you had gotten video of it.
Shibuya Scramble, and yes, we did.
Because I remember seeing a video of like a cat knocking stuff off a shelf, and
Yep, we got that. Ross in the chat is answering John's question with Schwartzmarken or Handshakers as the anime that made him mad and never watched again. But yes, we did see the 3D billboard. A lot of we did also find a fair amount of idol stuff, idol collabs.
I was gonna say, it's how big is the idol culture out there?
It is very big. One of the things that surprised me was also how much American pop music was played in stores.
Really?
Walking into a store in Japan and hearing Lady Gaga threw me for a loop.
I can only imagine you go walking into like a grocery store and you're hearing Poker Face or Bad Romance.
Pretty much. That threw me for a loop.
Or hearing Linkin Park or
but no, we in Shibuya we wandered into this this idol pop-up. I forget the name of the idol band for the life of me. But they had a music video for a song, and it was just, the song was really good.
It makes me wonder because, like, I know idol animes have become very popular over the last 5-10 years with like Love Live, K-On, different shows like that.
Idol Master,
Idol Masters, Bang
That-
Dream.
Idol Master was the one I wandered into a pop-up shop for that. I think I sent you a picture of it.
I think you did, yeah. Because Idol Masters is still going.
I was like I said before, I was so surprised by, and I think this just kind of touches on issues we've talked about already, but there was a lot of Love Live stuff, a lot of Idol Master stuff, but no Shine Post.
Which is I would say that's surprising, but I think Shine Post kind of was one of those shows that just slid under the radar. In my opinion, it is so good. The music is fantastic. I like the character building in it.
I wonder if that's a timing.
It could be a timing thing. Personally, I think Shine Post was a better story than any of the Love Live that I've seen. But then again, the Love Live just seems like it. All 4 different shows just seem almost a copy and paste with some changes. Maybe some different character personalities in there. They all, of course, are school idols, so that has similarities. It starts off, becoming a school idol to save the school, and then that kind of progresses and changes over time with each different diversion of the Love Live franchise. Where Shine Post was just about girls who want. It was basically 5 girls whose lives were, they were all in school. Lives were going in many different directions for the 5 of them. Some of them liked idols. Some of them were drugged to an idol show for various reasons by friends or family. Got to experience what some might have felt that in the anime was the ultimate idol show, and all got that itch that they wanted to become idols, and you get to see them struggle out. You start off and it's just 3 of the 5 girls in the same group called Tings, and they're up performing, and their performances are rusty. They're not in sync. One of them can't dance very well. One of them she doesn't improve. She just doesn't make mistakes, and one is holding herself back. And you get to see the progression of them, and then you get to see where the other two girls who are part of the group come in, and you get to see the growth of them, and you get to see them go from performing it in front of maybe 50 people to filling an arena of 5,000, and they have to do that in like 3 months.
And Ross in the chat, I wanted for 7 years to get into Idolmaster, but I never could figure out where to start, so I gave up. Ross, I have anime like that where there's just so much that I just, nope. I don't know where to start, so I gave up. Oh, God. And Ross is bringing us, and we're apparently ending the night on Christmas. Ross, burning question in my mind, but bringing it back to Christmas before time runs out. If you have a favorite, what is your favorite classic Christmas commercial?
I don't know that I have one.
Do you?
Okay, some of the Coca-Cola commercials with the bear were cute.
But from the 80s, though, like with Santa Claus and the bears.
Didn't Budweiser frogs also have Christmas commercials?
Maybe. I don't remember. There was also Snuggle Fabric Softener had a really cute one back in the 80s.
Yeah, I don't know that I have one.
I don't know. I just remember a bunch, but
I do know we have one more show before Thanksgiving, so I do have a few people that I've reached out to. I'm hoping that we can get a good guest lined up before our Christmas break. Our last show of 2024 is going to be December 15th. Hoping that we can line up at least one good guest for our holiday special that we always try to do. December 22nd and 29th, we're not doing shows due to the Christmas and New Year's holidays. We are taking a 2-week hiatus so that all of us are able to concentrate and spend time with our family and friends for the holidays. Plus, it gives us a chance to rejuvenate and be ready for the new year when 2025 comes in, and we can make fun of more shows. And Angela and I can try to come up with more, material to give each other.
Make fun of each other.
Yeah, more ways to give each other crap about shonen and isekai.
Because let's face it, we wouldn't be us if we didn't.
Exactly. And maybe in 2025, we can get all three of us together at a convention for the first time. I have been like, what, Darren?
I said no kidding.
Maybe. There's hope. And watch it not be an anime convention. Jeez.
What do you think, Darren? You want to go to a horror con with us in September? It's the one that Jason puts on.
Oh, Lord.
Maybe he'll be there in just an apron.
Does this mean I have to wear a dress?
Wear what you want, but I'd advise wearing something that you're okay getting dirty.
Oh, God.
Campbell's soup commercial with the melting snowman is Ross's favorite Christmas commercial. I remember that because it was a snowman that came in. He took like scarf and hat off, and it turned into like the little boy.
Oh my God! Yes.
So I do remember that one.
As do I. And and I have a problem with an AI commercial, I think.
Yeah. I think people have been having problems with AI all over the place, not just commercials.
Well, no. In the art communities, we're seeing a new crop up of issues with AI. To the point where a lot of artists are leaving Twitter as a result of AI.
I believe it.
But I don't really want to get into the nitty gritty of that. At least not
At this time,
yeah,
because we only got about 3-4 minutes left of the show.
exactly.
But if you have people out there that you'd like to see us try to get on the show, um, also a side note, I have been reaching out to various people that I would be interested in having on the show for AZR off-topic type stuff. So that could be in the works. Would love to hear back from some people who are outside of the anime and comic world. Just because I think it would be neat if we could get people on, maybe get some Hollywood actors on, maybe get athletes on, things of that nature. So there's a chance that I could be reaching out to a various group of people in the future. I know in the past I've tried before and have had little to no luck with some of the people I've reached out to by just not hearing anything back. So not going to mention any names or anything like that, but we could have some off-topic shows.
And I just have a large number of content creator acquaintances, a fair number of whom it's really just a matter of scheduling.
And like I said, we are free for like the person I have in mind for the holiday special. I just got to finalize things to make sure that they are available for the 15th. Otherwise, if you have people you'd like to bring on for the 21st, November 24th, December 1st, or December 8th, see if anybody's free and would like to come on.
December 8th, there's that depends on my flight back from Philly, whether or not I'm even appearing.
Okay. That's right. That's the weekend of
That
PAX
is the
Unplugged.
weekend of PAX Unplugged, and depending on our flight, I will either be making a late appearance or I will be not appearing at all.
I will do my best to get out there so I can give you your figure from Darren. It's made its way halfway to you. I'm not sure of, obviously, I don't know what my schedule will be going into that week. I just found out about this time yesterday what my job was going to be for next week. So,
Well, I will be down there. I will be in Philly starting Thursday.
so we will figure something out. That'll give me about like 3.5 days to try to figure out when to
But
get
I
down
will
there.
be. We're landing at some point Thursday morning. There Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then flying out Sunday evening to come back home.
Alrighty. Like I said, we will figure out when I can get out there to bring the figure to you.
Yep.
But on that note, we are just about out of time. I hope everybody enjoyed the show tonight. Thank you for everyone who tuned in, all of the amazing people in the chat, all of you wonderful listeners in the podcast world. Thank you for listening to Anime-Zing Radio. We love doing the show. We love the interaction from people. If you want to catch our shows live, we air live Sunday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So you can find us on any of those platforms just by searching Anime-Zing Radio. And we'd love to see you in our chat room. Love to answer any questions that you may have. I know that we have an international audience, and we love the fact that that's been continuing to grow. So thank you to all of you amazing people around the world who have been enjoying the content we put on. Until next week, I hope everybody has a wonderful and safe evening and week. Keep enjoying the anime, and until next time, this has been Anime-Zing Radio on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Have a good night, all.
Good night, everybody.